Today we're gonna do something fun and something I haven't personally tried before. We are going to paint on a t-shirt. There are 2 spots and I can't seem to be able to get rid of them. Must be vinegar because I eat so much salad. I thought I could place a motif on top of the shirt and try to integrate those spots into the motif or simply paint over them. So far I have 2 motifs. This one would probably be for a tote bag, and on the right I want to have this one on top of my t-shirt. It is the restored community center. This is what it looks like when you've restored it, and the date established winter 14 year 1 is because this is my personal record and the earliest I have restored the community center so far. Let's take a look at the supplies I'm gonna use. First things first, you do want to have something you can paint on with your fabric paint. Pretty much all I'm wearing is a simple white tee and black or blue slacks. This is a no-brainer for me, but you want to choose something where your motif will definitely fit and something you feel comfortable in. Another thing I'm going to use is this fabric paint set that my sister gave to me. It is from Marabou. There are these basic colors, 6 of them, as well as a brush is in the set. I just got my brush assortment and am going to use whatever I need in the moment. And I also brought my little porcelain palettes. A hot tip from my sister was that you need to place something in between the layers of whatever you are painting on so that it doesn't seep through onto the back layer and also onto whatever surface you are painting on. Definitely have some cardboard or another thing you can place in between the layers handy. Also 2 water containers to clean my brush. Are you ready? I am ready. I can't wait.
Wake up, Virginia, is your daddy home? Is your daddy home? Is your daddy home? Did he turn off the lights in the telephone? In the telephone, in the telephone.
Usually there are flowers inside. But because I finished the community center in winter, I will also paint it how it looks like in winter. As you can see, I had to collect the lettering quite a bit, but I think it could turn out quite nice. And I'm gonna grab the fabric paints now and we will start painting. Oh, it's not liquid. Aha, that is that is news to me. But I believe we will be able to do it anyway. I want some brown shade for the lettering of the word community center. I do want brown to be prevalent in the lettering as well, in the top as well as the bottom. Now we can see the mixing qualities of these. Okay, I definitely won't be able to use my watercolor brushes because the texture is more like gouache. Okay, here we go. What I mean when I say the texture is similar to gouache is that first off, it feels like jelly when painting with it. It is not liquid and it is not solid. It has a nice in-between texture. It is also water soluble. You are able to influence the paint depending on how much water you add to it. Lettering for me is the most tedious part, which is why I want to get it out of the way at the very beginning. You can also reactivate paint on your fabric if you try hard. Would you look at that? I finished the lettering! Yoo-hoo! It is just like gouache and it doesn't behave as I expected. It is going to be harder than I anticipated to paint this whole motif, but we're gonna manage. We are gonna manage, and I am continuing with the roof. I got some clean water, clean brushes, and don't forget to take another sheet of paper and place it under your shed. It isn't as easy to get details with this paint because it tends to stick to the paintbrush. It takes some getting used to, but all in all, it is a beginner-friendly paint, I would say. It also has very nice mixing qualities. The mixed paint stays mixed and doesn't break apart into its original components, which is very nice. The roof is finished. I am again gonna clean all the palettes and the brushes, and then we can continue with the building itself.
I've seen many pretty faces. You're the only one we're chasing. Think I may be falling in love. I've been getting into you. Usually feelings like this take a minute or two, and I've been staying up to 3.
I'd like to take this moment while I paint the rest of the building to tell you a bit about Stardew Valley. Also, please let me know if you already do know about Stardew Valley and are a fan. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to see how many Stardew Valley fans there are watching this video. Well, the first thing I want to say about it is that this game was developed by one single person. The guy who made it is called Eric Barone, and he did it completely by himself. It took him about 4 years, and he did everything. He thought of the game, he thought of the story, of the characters, he painted the characters, he even designed and composed his own soundtrack. It is a farming game with so much more you can do. You can decide how you want to play the game. You mostly need to do the farming in order to get your achievements and create the community center you can see here. It is based on Harvest Moon, no doubt about that. But he wanted to create a game that was taking the flaws of Harvest Moon and create a game that would not only do better in these areas where Harvest Moon failed, but create a comprehensive town. If you want to, you can ignore the villages, but I really wouldn't. You can get to know them, get to know their background. You can even help them make decisions. They will ask for your advice the better you know them. You can have little dinosaurs. There are 2 mines you will explore. The gender of your character is not bound to the gender of marriage possibilities, so you can marry bachelorettes and bachelors always, no matter which gender you choose at the beginning. There were 2 major updates where he introduced new content, new characters. It is just incredible. That's enough for today. It is now 11 p.m. and I am going to bed. The only thing missing is the yellow beige background for the scroll at the bottom, and I'm gonna do that tomorrow. See you then. The next morning, I tried to remove the cardboard and place it under the new part I wanted to paint on. However, the t-shirt had dried onto the cardboard. It was quite hard to remove it, and there were even some pieces stuck on the inside of the shirt. They were gone after I washed it in the washing machine, but if you have the possibility, maybe you want to use something with plastic that you can remove easier, or I'd think of a plastic cutting board. Those would be possible things to use in order to avoid that. Okay, I took a shower, I got dressed. This one is dry now, so we are gonna take a look at how it turned out.
Let me spit my game. You know that this room got me moving this way.
I love how it turned out, but it is still water soluble. You need to do one of two things in order to have it fixated into the fabric. First one, iron it on the temperature that the fabric paint says. I believe it is, second. These ones you are supposed to iron 2 to 3 minutes on typical cotton temperature. The alternative way is to use your oven and bake it 8 minutes, 150 degrees. But only if your fabric is 100% cotton. After you did that, you should be able to wash it. I believe 40 degrees is something like medium or hot wash even. That did at one spot something seep through. You can see it here on the back. The light point is where it seeped through, and I simply decided to draw a star above it. So you want to place something in between the fabric sheets before you either iron or put it in your oven. Let's go!
Let me spit my game. You know that this room got me moving this way. You've been in the frame. All those things you do got me willing to play.
Shit! Nein! Oh, so I guess I made a mistake. I said 150 degrees, but what I did with my oven was 180 degrees. And on the shirt there are some, let me just show you. I'm not sure whether it burned a bit or if it is paint. Here I believe it is paint because I crumpled it up. But here I think the shirt burned in my oven. Okay, I am going to wash it now because it should be able to be washed with up to 40 degrees. Yes, it is 40, I checked again. And then we'll see what happens and how it looks. It is now almost 4 p.m. The t-shirt is dry and I am so happy with how it turned out. I'm gonna show you. As you can see, the watercolor pencil washed out completely. It is, however, still visible down here. Wherever you placed some fabric paint, or where I placed some fabric paint on top, it is almost like it is glazed and therefore cannot wash out anymore. You can definitely see the sketch, but I am still extremely happy with it. Very happy. So happy. So I do have some thoughts. For example, I believe it would look better if the motif were smaller and didn't stretch as much over the whole t-shirt. Also, there are some folds that take away the lettering. I can see myself doing this again, but I do have other things planned for this channel as well. How to store your art supplies still needs 2 more installments. Find your art medium. And also I really miss vlogging. Final announcement. You might have noticed I changed my banner. It doesn't say new video every week anymore, but it says irregular but ongoing uploads. I still am such a noob at editing that I cannot keep up with the weekly schedule I set for myself. My goal is still every week, but I really want to keep the quality of my videos high and give you guys great content that you like. Just a heads up, there won't be a new video every single week. At least not yet. So the best way to be notified when there is a new video would be to subscribe to my channel. I hope to see you in the next video and hope you have a great time until then.